check to make sure that you can hear it. I just don't even know if it's going to work going through.
I hope so.
As you can see, Taylor's not here today. He is currently on his way down to Detroit, Michigan. Oh, look at that. It is up there. Oh, I can hear myself. Cool. All right. We're good. I don't know what number episode this is, but we have a special guest today, Jerad. So Jared's been working out here for quite a few years now.
Probably seen him around the gym quite a few times.
Yep. Seen him doing
Likes hanging out here.
handstand walks and all that fun, crazy stuff. So we wanted to sit down with him. We started all doing a program at the same time, 75 Hard, and we figured it'd be a good time to get him in with, Taylor and Caitlin both being gone, get an extra person here to talk instead of just me and Lauren. Give you guys someone new to listen to instead of us just say the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
Talking about whys and motivations, but we can kind of get into like your fitness background, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. When you first got into fitness activity, things like that, like sports in high school, all that good stuff.
Okay, yeah. Regarding fitness background, I've been doing sports for as long as I can remember. Was always active, always played sports. I mean, like all seasons it seemed. Wrestling was really big in my background. Started that probably kindergarten or pre-K. Wrestled all through high school. Did a little bit just as far as club once I was in college. So wrestling was a really big part of my fitness background. Played other sports such as flag football, eventually tackle. Played some basketball through elementary school. Of course, that kind of started to conflict with wrestling, so that stopped. Did track, played a lot of baseball. Really enjoyed softball. Played some beer league softball in college, which I loved. I miss that, that's for sure. Always been involved. Used to do like swimming lessons in the summer, so was always active.
Doing something.
Always doing something. And then, I mean, I was a farm kid growing up too, so always outside doing chores and working. I mean, we were always moving, so.
Yeah. Now, did you realize, at what age did you start to realize that, like, this isn't just, it's not always just for fun, but it's like a form of being healthy, and, like exercise is good for you, rather than like I gotta go to basketball practice, or I gotta go to wrestling practice, and this is just like some type of activity that I'm doing. But when did you realize the benefits of all of it that you can remember?
To be honest, I think as a young person, a lot of people don't have the appreciation for health, or they don't look at it through that lens. And I would say I was very much that way until maybe more recently. But, because I mean, as a kid, you're out there just trying to have fun. You're growing up fast, and so I wouldn't say that I ever thought about it as far as from a health standpoint. Obviously, you can see physical differences and stuff like that, and obviously being in shape was very important, especially with the sport of wrestling. I mean, it was very, very grueling, and then obviously there was weight classes and stuff like that, so you were in pretty good shape.
Right.
So that just naturally kept me there.
Yeah.
So from a health standpoint, I mean, there's a lot of things that I could have done different to improve my health further. I mean, health is more than just some of the physical stuff that you can see too. So
in the community that you grew up in and like school, was it like a bigger school or a smaller school in Wisconsin? And then how do you think that kind of played into being an athlete? Like was physical activity and just getting out and obviously being a farm kid, like moving your body, like, was that stressed as something important, or were you just kind of like one of the few that actually did like do lots of activity, and then maybe most other people didn't really do very much?
Yeah, good question. I would say it's definitely changed over the years. I mean, as the generations move on, but kind of a small town outside of a larger town is where I grew up. So my elementary school was pretty small. So group of friends. I mean, you have some that are more athletic than others, obviously, or excel more in gym class. We always had gym class. We had recess multiple times a day, and it seems like they slowly started to cut those out. So, I mean, you always had that opportunity to go outside, run around, and play games and whatnot, which I think is great for kids' health. And then once I moved up to junior high and high school, that was a much bigger town. So there's about 18,000 some in the town where I went to high school at.
Okay.
So 2 junior highs coming together for that. We were D1, which would be the largest division for
Okay,
like sports
yeah.
and stuff like that. So really good competition. So I mean, our wrestling team was numerous times state champions. They might be like 20 times state champions.
Wow.
So I mean, there were really high expectations, particularly for the sport that I was in.
Yeah. Did they give you like specific nutrition things to do with that, or were they just like either gain weight or lose weight?
So they did offer advice. Some of the coaches had some more experience in some of the nutritional side, so they would actually invite parents in, invite the wrestlers in. This would be after a practice or something like that, and they try to educate you on proper nutrition and stuff like that. I'll be honest that it didn't all make sense to me back then. I mean, especially when you're in the sport, I mean, that's not what you're thinking about sometimes.
Right.
I think
That's not your main focus.
Yeah, I think there are some who really excel at that and probably do a really good job. I would say if I would go back, especially with the knowledge I know now, I would have done it completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you were tracking pounds or ounces,
Yeah.
not the quality of the foods that you were eating sometimes, I think. So
How many pounds of pizza rolls did I eat?
well, it was not pizza rolls, I will say that. But and I was very fortunate that, I mean, my parents cooked really good food. I mean, we ate fairly well health-wise in my household, so that really helped. But I know eating a lot of like breakfast cereal, like, and maybe didn't have. I really didn't probably drink enough water because water weighs a lot.
Right.
If I could eat really light foods, like even a loaf of like little piece of bread or something, it's really light and fluffy. It doesn't weigh a lot. So it's stuff like that. But the reality is, as far as nutrient-dense foods that can really benefit your body,
Yeah. Your focus
I could have
was-
had a better balance. I think looking back.
Your focus was on your weight rather than like the types of foods you're putting in.
Yeah, that's definitely not any way to go about it.
Right,
So
yeah.
I learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the past, and I've progressed since then.
Yeah.
So where'd you find your fitness after you graduated and you were done with sports after going off to college?
That's a good question. So once I wasn't tracking weight anymore, I definitely put on probably the freshman 15,
Yeah.
eating at the university cafeteria
Yeah.
when you could eat pizza every day.
As much
and-
as you want.
Yep, and once you start drinking and put a little weight on. Well, I grew a lot too. When you're not in a nutrient deficit
Yeah.
or caloric deficit for a good part of your life, you really grow quite a bit. So I actually started doing club wrestling for a little bit for at least the first year or two when I was in my undergrad. And then I think might have been my sophomore year, so my second year, I started doing some lifting at the university gym, just going in and doing more of like a bodybuilding type stuff. I tried to base it off of some of my lifting program that I used to do at the high school for wrestling. I think I actually had one of my requirements was a gym PE requirement, so for that I think I took a weightlifting class too, so it just gave me another excuse to go lift weights or do
Yeah.
my workout.
Right.
So I did that
So you
actually
stayed
with
pretty
my roommate.
consistent.
And then
exercise.
my brother, actually, both my siblings went to the same university as me, so when my brother was there, we lifted together
Okay.
a little bit too. And then usually did that about 3 days a week, and then I did intramural sports, like I said, softball, stuff like that occasionally, and then a couple of friends and roommates would go play like basketball 2 days a week. So on the days I wasn't lifting, so I kind of got cardio in then too.
Yeah, just like that general activity.
Yeah, so I found ways to keep moving.
Right. Yeah.
So kind of keeps you in shape.
Right. And then when did you kind of transition, like from your undergrad, then you got into like your graduate degree, and like obviously you had a much higher course load, and then like graduate and PhD, like
The course load was actually might have been less, but I mean, you're working a lot for your graduate degree too. So, but yeah, so I had a year off in between my graduating from undergrad and then going to grad school, so didn't really do anything. Kind of had that off. I was just working. But then once I got to graduate school, I think if I was a semester in or 2 semesters in, but I met a undergrad there who was in our department and he liked to lift, so he's like, hey, you want to partner up and work out together? And so that's kind of, we started doing bodybuilding type stuff together. He was incredibly strong, so I mean, it pushed me to get stronger as well. So it also gives you that accountability. You have someone that's relying on you to show up, and so that's what we're going to do. I'm trying to think, we used to do like a 3 and 2 day split, I think. So
3 and 2 day split.
Yeah, so we do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then next week, like Tuesday, Thursday, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And so when did you start to transition into CrossFit? How long was that? Completely after college was over?
Oh yeah. Yep. So COVID happened.
Yep.
And I was doing like body weight workouts in my apartment. Found some Athlete X stuff. They had a really nice body weight workout that you could do. So I tried to do that a few days a week, just because I enjoyed doing all that lifting stuff. But then everything shut down, so I couldn't. So did something on my own, and then.
Is that before you came to Michigan? That COVID like shut down?
Yeah. Yep. It started I think it was early 2020, and then. I moved back home for the summer and then started a job here with Michigan State University Extension as a lead food educator in September. I think I joined this gym in October. Something like that. And so I just did went back to doing my normal bodybuilding stuff, using machines and stuff like that. Some free weights too, obviously, but was not involved in any CrossFit stuff, like fit camps or anything like that. That happened about in January, maybe. I finally got convinced. Yeah, there was you guys were doing a challenge, and some people here convinced me, like, oh, you should try it. So, I remember the first workout was a little bit humbling because you think you can go full speed, full send, and that's not the case. So one thing you'll learn with CrossFit, you gotta pace some of those workouts.
Yeah.
So it's just a completely different style of training, which I've really grown to enjoy, and that's why I've stuck with it. Sure, with the bodybuilding, it's slower pace. You get your rest between your sets. You can build a lot of strength and muscle.
Right.
But the CrossFit adds that endurance component on top of that, combines those two, and that just makes you an even more well-rounded athlete or person, healthy as well. Yeah. So that's kind of why I continue to do it.
I was kind of in the same boat as you. Like when I first started, it was something really new to me because I was the exact same thing, just bodybuilding, machines, barbells, dumbbells, just like basically trying to look good for the most part, to be honest. And then
get that beach body.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I really cared about. But then once I started working here, kind of had no choice. Not gonna lie.
No, we're gonna guilt you into doing it.
Yeah. So I started out doing a couple workouts, and it was new and it was exciting. So I felt like there was so much to learn about fitness than what I had surrounded myself with bodybuilding for so long. There was so much more to it.
Oh yeah.
You were like, oh, gymnastics.
Yeah.
Like
because I remember like you came in and did a Metcon before you started your internship, and
It was with you.
yeah, with me, and we did like, it was like lunges and
Yeah.
like pull-ups or muscle-ups, and I don't even know whatever else was on there.
Yeah.
Could do a lot of the gymnastics before you even started CrossFit.
But,
Yeah,
that's
luckily.
true. He could do muscle-ups, but they were not
They
the
were-
kipping muscle-ups.
Yeah, they didn't look good.
They were more like, yeah, bodybuilding muscle-ups. Like you just kind of used your strength, like you were strong enough to do it, so you just kind of like
Yeah.
muscled through it.
We're not all that gifted.
No.
Yeah, so like I'm sure both of you kind of had a similar thing coming in, like coming from that bodybuilding, like you had the body weight strength from doing, you know, lots of pull-ups and all that. So like transitioning from that and then trying to like learn the gymnastic skills, learn the Olympic lifts. Like,
So technical.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it gives you a whole nother
Oh, yeah.
area to learn. I mean, I watched a lot of videos on bodybuilding type movements. I mean, you're getting familiar with all the different muscle groups and the machines and how to maximize growth or strength and whatnot. And now it completely changes to all these other movements and exercises. So it makes it fun
Yeah.
too.
And then you get into like how nutrition affects your performance and
Yeah.
the different supplements you can take to help with, because it's competitive. The sport of CrossFit is really competitive, and you know, like you try to get every supplement that'll help you, like taking carbs in the middle of your workout to get that extra energy
Yeah,
boost.
yeah, he
Yeah.
discovered that.
Yeah, I was telling him that today. Like I felt, first time I ever did it, I felt like I had superpowers after.
Yeah.
It was
You're
it's
like, oh my
crazy.
gosh, I have so much energy. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, carbs are energy when you're working out
Yeah.
for
Even though we
hours
demonize
upon
them.
hours.
Yeah.
See me carrying around a little packet of gummy bears in my
Yeah.
pocket and just eating them in the middle of my workout.
Rice Krispies, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like as far as CrossFit goes, I mean, you've done several competitions and stuff
Oh, yeah.
since then.
He technically is like a CrossFit TH athlete.
Yes.
So, well, I mean, since that one challenge that was in January of 21, I've done the Open now.
Yeah, you did it.
This will be my 4th year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did the Open, not really knowing much about CrossFit at all.
Yeah, that was my first open.
Just
too.
kind of went into it, and I mean, I had to scale some of the movements because I didn't know how to do them yet. I hadn't learned them yet. I hadn't been
Yeah.
able to practice them yet. I was just kind of started in fit camps and then eventually progressed, and you start to learn, and you're like, okay, well, I need to work on this, I need to work on that. So you put in a little extra time trying to learn these other movements, and I mean, I don't know, I did fit camp for a year and a half, 2 years probably at least, maybe more than that.
Somewhere around there, I'd say.
Before, kind of going off and doing some other programs, but I mean, you don't know it all at first. So
No.
it takes a little while, and it's the consistency and the dedication to keep working hard that you slowly develop those skills so that you're more efficient at them.
It takes time, for sure.
Yeah. You've been all working at it for quite a while, and we wouldn't say that any of us are perfect or we're going to be the next games athlete by any means.
Far
So-
from.
Far from it still. We're just trying to get better every day.
So, but yeah, there's a lot to learn. I think even on the you were talking about the nutrition. My nutrition has changed quite a bit as well. I think about it more as fuel than I don't know. Some people think of it as punishment, or I mean, I think about it as fuel. I mean,
Yeah.
I've always been, because I've stayed active enough, I've always been able to kind of eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I think as we get older, our bodies change, and you realize that you're not going to be that young, invincible self forever. So your body does change, and I've had to learn more about nutrition. I mean, my graduate work was in cattle nutrition, so I mean, I have a good understanding of nutrition, but I can apply that now to my own human
Right.
nutrition, and
Yeah.
That's why you eat so much steak, right?
that has really helped. Yeah, big beef support. Yeah, but that's helped a lot. But even learning about insensitivities, our friend Colleen Wallace has
Yep.
talked about that, and doing tests to see what foods set you off and don't really agree with you. I mean, it causes some of that inflammation. But you try to avoid that stuff so that your body's able to recover and absorb food efficiently. So it can still operate at a high level.
Right, because like obviously we all work out pretty intensely, especially now more so than before, doing 2 workouts a day. Like nutrition does play into that a lot. So like,
And it changes depending what you're doing.
yes,
We were, as you were saying, like we're doing the 75 hard challenge now,
Yeah.
and we have to do 2 workouts a day. At least they have to at least be 45 minutes, and one has to be outdoors, right?
Mhm.
So now adding that in on top of what we were already doing,
Yeah.
that's expending how many more calories?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we were talking before this that a lot of I try to hit a protein goal, so many grams, and a lot of my other calories would come from fat actually.
Yeah.
But now I've found since I've been burning some more calories that I actually
Carbs.
crave more of the carbs.
Yeah.
And I need more of those carbs that are easy to burn for fuel. And your nutrition's always changing, which is
Yeah.
interesting. You have to find what fits your lifestyle or your exercise level, etc.
Yeah, like in that time period, and like especially now, like focusing a lot more on timing and everything too, is like huge with doing like 2 different workouts back to back. But
Oh, yeah.
you know, like switching from, you know, with my breakfast, I would do like a breakfast bowl with potatoes, and now it's like, okay, I'm doing a bagel, like a whole wheat bagel instead because I need more carbs, and drinking a like shaker with just carb powder. And I mean, it's got like electrolytes and other things like that. And like even watching like your sodium, because if you're eating like very unprocessed diet where there's not a lot of like sodium added, but if you're sweating a lot, like being careful with, you know, got to add salt into like your water,
Yeah.
just so you don't overhydrate. Because also drinking a gallon of water a day,
Yeah.
like you don't want to throw off their like the
Yeah, it's a base
water
balance.
and your like electrolyte balance and everything like that too.
I've had a heavy hand with my salt shaker nowadays.
Yes.
You kind of need to.
That is an interesting point because I eat a lot of whole foods now. I've kind of just got away from a lot of the processed foods, anything you can buy in bags. I mean, you're getting your own vegetables, you're getting your own fruits, you're getting your own meats. That's basically all you need right there. You try to find some snacks that are easy grab and go, but are less processed. I think that really helps. But then to the point of talking about the sodium, that's one thing I've had to think about too. Like getting electrolytes, I try to drink more Gatorade now because we drink so much water, flushing stuff through your body. We sweat so much more on this challenge now. Yeah, it's different. I never used to drink this much water, so
Yeah.
it took a few days starting this challenge to get adjusted to that.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is like the first few days was kind of difficult with like working out more and like, you know, just changing everything. But once you've kind of gotten into the groove of it, it's like not so bad. I mean, like the first few weeks will probably be still kind of challenging, but once you get past like the first 2, maybe 3 weeks of whether it's a diet or starting a new workout program, you know, I think that you just kind of like you're in it now, and you've just gotten used to it. And so I think if people can just like push past that first uncomfortable period, you know, like starting CrossFit, you know, the first 2 weeks, like you're going to be super sore and the workouts suck, and then
You're going to feel like you have
eventually-
no idea what you're doing.
Right, and then like you just kind of like get into a rhythm with it, and
Yeah.
like diet too, like it's just like becomes okay. Like I'm just not having any treats or
It's what becomes normal.
yes,
So like for the diet portion of this challenge, I mean, it's not like I had to do anything super special. I mean,
Yeah.
just make sure I'm meeting all my nutritional goals, but I'm still eating really healthy foods.
no more
I mean,
country
it's-
cakes and
It's
cookies.
So I have cut out some of the cookies and pies
Can't
and
let you
stuff
slide
like
on that one.
that I really like. But the thing is, I don't think of those as cheat meals, or I don't even
It's
use
fueling.
them. It's fuel for me because, like I said, I had to add in more carbs. That used to be all my carbs. I used to get all those sugars and carbs. I'd burn it, so it was
Right.
never a problem for me. So you just have to be conscious of what you're using as fuel for your body to make sure you're getting enough protein, you're getting enough of those carbs or fats, so you have enough calories or energy to do your workouts. And
And you have a good mindset with it too. You don't think of it as a cheat meal, so you're not like, punishing yourself for having that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So much of what we do, just even, I don't know, your normal lives, so much of it is mental, and I think that the mental aspect has really changed for me, I think, over the last couple of years being here. Part of that is surrounding yourself with really good people, people that are going to push you, people that are going to put you in the right mindset as well, people that want to be challenged as well. You can challenge each other, they hold you accountable. Those are all really good things. You should always be trying to find people that are better than you, or at least willing to push you so that you can get to the next step and you can keep improving upon yourself. And like I said, we get together and we work out together, push each other. I mean,
It's always better than by yourself.
oh yeah, it is. So stuff like that, listening to different leadership or positive speakers. I mean, a lot of it's mindset. If you don't have a positive mindset every day, I mean, life can get tough at times. So you just have to. A lot of it comes in from a mental aspect. That comes down to workouts too. We do some pretty grueling workouts, and you could let the thought, the doubts creep in of like, why am I doing this? This is tough. Yeah, you have to do tough things if you want to get better.
Yep.
You don't get better by sitting at home or being comfortable and doing the same thing you always done. You got to go out and experience new challenges. So.
And doing tough things makes those minor daily inconveniences seem a lot less
Yeah. Or,
danger.
and some things happen that are out of your control, and
Just like,
that's what it is. You know, we'll find a way to fix it, and we'll move around it. And that's the way I'm really happy that I'm getting to that point. It's taken time, but I think if other people can learn that as well, they'll be in a much better mental state. And I think exercise or what we have here in the gym, it definitely helps that.
Yeah.
Helps that.
Yeah, like as far as outside of the gym, like when it comes to like sleep or other habits, like obviously we talk about how improving yourself in the gym, nutrition-wise, workout-wise, like the mental side of it through changing that in the gym bleeds into other things. So like what have you noticed different in either like your career or maybe in like just personal changes that you've noticed through like doing those tough workouts and making those like different changes?
Yeah, I think my background in wrestling definitely was a key driver in being able to just do tough things. I mean, farm work's not easy either. So I mean, just always had that work hard, don't quit mentality. So that was the one thing that even in my family, Jaboreks aren't quitters, we used to say.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just got to keep persevering and do the hard things, get through those difficult challenges.
You kind of made it like your identity then, because if you're like Jaboreks aren't quitters, then like
We used to say that when we were younger a lot. Yeah.
then that's a part of
Who
your
you are,
identity.
yeah.
So that's who you are. You're not gonna.
But so it's helped, and it helps me get through some of these tough workouts. I mean, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I was just over here, I don't know, a couple days ago, and I was halfway through a workout. I'm like,
The 3 on 1 off.
this not even the one after that. It was like 8 rounds, and it had some bike in there, and I'm like, I was halfway down. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks. Why? You know, you're thinking, why am I doing this? And you're like, you got to find the reasons that drive you. I mean, it's the pursuit. You got to keep pushing through it. You can't quit. And you'll feel that much better afterwards because you know that you did something that was challenging.
Yeah.
So I think that's the rewards at the end. If you let yourself quit, you gave yourself an excuse, you're not going to feel the same reward that you do at the end.
Right.
It's not going to make you any better either.
Yeah.
So
I think that's going to affect how you perceive like challenges in work and challenges in life too. Like allowing yourself that easy way out is kind of similar to that.
Yeah, and I think, well, I mean, I've had a lot of different jobs, summer jobs and whatnot, and graduate school, I mean, is a constant grind to finish up all your research and your schooling that you do have to do. So you put in a lot of hours there, and now in this job that I have, I mean, I get to do a lot of the similar things. but it comes down to figuring out work-life balance too, I think.
Yeah.
That's really important. I think finding time to do your exercises. There's always time. But then like you're saying, you got to figure out your nutrition too. It's almost like a job sometimes.
It is.
You have to prepare your meals, figure out what you're going to eat. You have to be prepared.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't have any plan. You have to make sure that, okay, I went to the grocery store, I have at least enough protein and vegetables and whatever it's going to be that I can make so many meals,
For the week.
yeah, or so many days, and then I need to go again.
Yep.
You have to be prepared. You can't run out of food.
Yeah.
And likewise, you have to plan your sleep. Make sure you're getting adequate sleep and recovery, because once you start working out so much, I mean, your body needs that time to just relax, recover,
Yeah.
rebuild itself.
Right. Yeah. Do more of that. For your for the 75 parts specifically,
Yeah.
what's been the most challenging cast of them?
So, for all those who aren't familiar with the 75 hard challenge, we talked about having to do the 2 workouts. We have to drink a gallon of water. I think we mentioned that. You also have to follow a diet.
Yep.
We discussed that a little bit. You also have to do a progress photo every day, and then you have to read 10 pages of a non-fictional book.
Yep.
So,
No cheat meals or alcohol.
yep,
And then
That's
one of the
it.
workout does have to be outside.
yep,
Even in 14 degrees weather,
yeah.
we were outside.
So, the indoor workout is obviously pretty easy.
Right.
Already going to the gym. The diet for me has been pretty easy. I did cut out the sweets that I really do like, but just because of principle, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though I don't see them as negatives, I consider them part of my diet. So that was pretty easy. Taking a picture is pretty easy. Reading's pretty easy. I like to do reading. I read quite a bit for work, scientific journals and stuff like that. So pretty easy. Been doing quite a bit of reading in my Bible of late. And then, so at first, I would say drinking enough water was a challenge for me. I think I just naturally don't require as much water. Probably how my body got adjusted for wrestling, I think. So there is some science out there that shows that their water levels or osmotic levels are actually a little lower.
So they don't need as much.
Just, yeah. They just
Okay.
learn how their bodies have adapted to that. So I think that's probably carried over.
Like a cactus.
Oh no, they have a lot of water, I think. But, anyway, so that was a challenge, but I think my body's adapted to it.
Yeah.
I found that I've been sweating a lot more, so like you said, making sure you get a little bit more sodium. So like I've got some Gatorade powder to help give me some of those electrolytes.
And
again.
carbs, yeah.
Yeah. So just your nutrition's always changing a little bit, right? So that was a challenge. I think sometimes the outdoor workout's a little bit of an inconvenience. Because they don't want you to have them back to back either.
Right.
So you have to stagger them. So, for instance, that means I have to get up really early. Like I convinced DeLorean to go on some runs with me or something like that. Or maybe that means going for a walk over the lunch hour. Or it's a late walk at the end of the day. So you just have to figure out when can you get that into your schedule. And the weather might not be very conducive for that.
No.
Yeah.
But you have to figure out how to do it. The one day we came in early and did some machines outside. Yeah.
Yep. It was so cold the machines weren't working quite well towards the end. There was almost sent ourselves into the door.
I'm glad I did not attend that one.
Yeah. It really wasn't that bad. Like that's like the part of it. Like once you get into it,
You get warmed up.
yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like the hardest part is just getting started. with
Yeah,
it.
that's like with everything.
Like waking up and getting up early and getting your butt out the door.
Yeah, and it's like the biggest challenge of that outdoor workout is like doing what needs to be done regardless of the circumstances. And I think that can transition so well into so many people's lives because like you can't control what's happening in your life, but you can control what actions you're going to take. And
And prioritizing too, I think.
right.
prioritizing the right things.
Mhm.
I mean, these are all really good things. I mean, in that, because of how I've had to structure the day too. I mean, I've tried to give up social media for Lent here,
Yeah.
but I'm not on my phone as much either, which that has great health and mental benefits
Yeah,
as well. So you just prioritize what you're doing, the things that are important. I mean, if you have, for instance, if you have a family and you got to take care of kids, or you got to run kids to practice, I mean, that's more important than you being on your phone or sitting and watching TV at night.
Yep.
I mean, you can prep meals or something. I mean, you can do the important things and make a better use of your time while still getting the recovery, eating right, and enough sleep, and still getting your workouts and doing, going to work and whatnot.
Two more questions. One would be, what was your motivation for starting 75 Hard?
It's a good question.
Or was it just kind of like a spur of the moment?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Because I mean, like we've already, like
Yeah.
I've done it once before. I made it 51 days, so I didn't finish the program consecutively. But like, what's your what made you be like, oh, I want to do that?
I think because of its reputation.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be so hard, and people have tried it for, like you said, you get 50 some days, and then for some reason you weren't able to sustain that. You
Yep.
didn't do one of the things, and you got to start over. To me, I'm like, I'm up for that challenge.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that bad. I like to do difficult things, and it was just another thing to say, yeah, I did it. I can do it. And right now, I kind of want to push myself leading up to the Open. I figured, what's another little workout if I have to go out, get some fresh air.
Yeah.
I can do some more running that'll help my endurance. With the Open coming up, I said, great. Then the Murph's not far behind, so you're doing a lot of running usually to prep for that.
Right.
So I just thought of it kind of as a win-win. Let's go do a little challenge.
Right.
And at the same time, I'm like, why don't you guys join me?
Yeah.
I think that makes it,
A lot better.
yeah. And you have someone
Yeah.
to
It totally-
do an activity with. So I think anyone who's interested in getting into the gym or something like that, find a friend that wants to go.
Yeah.
Find someone that can hold you accountable. You can hold each other accountable.
Yep.
Now, it's maybe a little tough if it's a spouse or a partner or
Yeah.
something like that at home. I know
Tensions.
yeah, you can build up some tensions there in that relationship, but find a friend or something. Go find someone you don't have to maybe even work out together, but force each other to go and put in the time and
Like
do
talk to
those
each other about it. Like,
do those challenging things, yeah.
yeah.
And talk to, we got a great gym community here. I mean, everybody's had different experiences and is at a different level of understanding too. So even if you're just getting started or if you've been here a while, you can learn from somebody else.
Yeah.
There's always stuff to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Last part, well, you already kind of started into it. Advice that you would give to people, just like
Wanting
any
to
general
start,
advice, yeah.
with
Wanting to
nutrition.
start, or maybe they don't know anybody. There's a lot of people that I've talked to that they just don't know a lot of people outside of their family or like something, and so like coming into the gym community versus
Yeah.
the bar community or something,
Yeah. I can speak to that, I guess, firsthand. I mean, I moved here from Wisconsin. I never had set foot in Michigan until I moved here for my job.
You're like, all right, we're just gonna send it.
I knew no one. So met people that were in my office at work, and then that obvious Colleen, and I think maybe there was a few of the ladies in my office actually that were going to the gym here doing some of the classes. So they're like, oh, you should go. And so I came here and did my own thing, worked out by myself. But I slowly got to meet people. I got into the class. Then you're seeing those same people every day. They become your friends. And
Steve-O.
Yep, Steve. And yeah, so, Frizzle was in that class with us forever, it seemed, too. So just, you build that sense of community, friends. So for me, the gym is actually a bit of my social life as well. I've really cut back on drinking because like, you know, you're talking about the bar life. I used to put them back, and
Yeah.
it was fun. But I tell you what, your body does not respond the same way as you get older, especially once you start putting exercise in there. You don't recover the same way. So
Yeah.
I just found that I feel so much better by not even partaking in it if I can. Now, that doesn't mean I can't go out and hang out with people at the same time. I've actually adjusted or become comfortable with going out,
Yeah.
and I don't really miss it anymore, to be
Yeah.
honest. It's really weird, but yeah, I don't. And so this is kind of the community. This is my social life. Come in, do my workout, and chat with people in between and see how they're doing. And yeah, so if anyone's scared about coming in, I think you just have to show up. You'll start to fit right in. Talk with people. It might not be right away. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm very outgoing whatsoever, but I've made friends here, and you start to get comfortable. I mean, you just got to show up.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Show up every day. Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, I
That's
agree.
good. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, main takeaways is just like getting in, just starting it. Like, you know, whether it's for us with our outdoor workouts, like it's going to be uncomfortable at first, or it might be uncomfortable, you know, the first few weeks that you do something or coming into a new environment, but you just kind of have to take a leap of faith. And
I think the things start to work themselves out too as you just
Yeah.
stay consistent.
and like eventually it just becomes your new normal,
Yeah.
and you get used to it.
and you don't have to know how to do everything.
Right.
I mean, I learned stuff all through like college. I'd watch some videos and like, oh, I can add that into my workout.
Yeah.
I mean, same goes here. Or you can get personal training where they can probably speed up your learning curve and teach you how to do all this stuff.
Yep.
But there's also videos. I know you guys have created videos here for the gym that
Yep.
show you how to do different things, different exercises. So there are those resources. If you don't know, you can learn them, and it's great to learn. So I
Yeah.
mean, you can't use that as an excuse either. You got to stop making excuses for yourself as to why you can't come in here and improve your health. So that's part of it. I think people need to realize that no excuse is a good excuse.
Right.
You could have a physical limitation even too, but I found even you get injured here and there, or your body doesn't recover the same. Stretching helps, but you work through a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really good excuses. You can always do something.
Yeah, people have gotten major surgeries. That I've broken a bone and I was still back here working out. Like, you can just doing what you can and what you're able to do.
Exactly. So, for people that have questions about starting or getting started, or who have just started and keep doing it, I mean, yeah, you just got to keep showing up. You'll learn. You'll get better. It doesn't happen like that.
Yep.
You'll learn the nutrition. You make slow changes.
Yep.
You know, maybe you're used to eating a takeout pizza or a takeout sub, or going out to eat multiple times a week. You'll learn how to make meals.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time, and you'll get into that groove of what feels normal to you. It'll just become a norm.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on today. It was a good conversation. Hope everybody got something, a little tidbit out of it, or a little extra motivation to come into the gym. But until next time, stay healthy,